A black belt challenged a little girl as a joke. Then she silenced the whole gym. Before we start the story, leave a comment telling us which city you're watching from. Enjoy the story. It was a loud, busy afternoon at Iron Fist Martial Arts Academy. The air was full of energy students sparring, coaches shouting, gloves hitting mats. But the moment the front door opened, everything paused. A young girl stepped in. She looked no older than 10, wearing a clean white gi that was clearly too big for her. The pant legs dragged across the floor. She held her belt tightly, her knuckles white from gripping it. Coach Brandon, the head instructor, noticed her right away. He was tall, muscular, and wore a black belt that he liked to show off. He walked over with a smirk. "Well, what do we have here?" he said loud enough for everyone to hear. "Looks like a little princess wandered into the wrong dojo." A few students snickered. One even pulled out their phone to record. The girl didn't say anything. She just looked up at Coach Brandon with calm, steady eyes. "What's your name, kid?" he asked. "Maya," she replied softly. Coach Brandon chuckled. "Okay, Maya, let's see what you've got. Throw a punch." She hesitated. "What's the matter? Scared?" he teased. "Come on, Cupcake. Show us your best shot." Maya took a slow breath. "Are you sure you want me to?" she asked quietly. Now the students were really laughing. In the far corner of the gym, an older man sat watching. His name was Mr. Lee, a retired fighter who trained many champions in his prime. He narrowed his eyes. "That stance," he whispered to himself. "I've seen that before." Maya raised her fists, not the clumsy way most beginners do, but with sharp, perfect form. Her feet were planted like a tree, her eyes focused like a hawk. Coach Brandon took a mock fighting stance. "All right, let's go." But something changed in the room. The laughter stopped, the teasing faded, and for the first time that day, the gym went completely silent. Nobody expected what would happen next. The gym held its breath. Maya stood still, her eyes locked on Coach Brandon. He smirked, thinking she was frozen in fear. Students gathered around, some whispering, others holding up their phones to record what they expected would be a quick embarrassment. "Come on," Coach Brandon said, bouncing on his toes. "Don't be shy. Show us a punch." Maya didn't move. She just stared. Then snap, her foot slid back into a perfect fighting stance. Coach Brandon laughed. Okay, not bad. Let's see if you can land one on me." In a flash, Maya moved. Her foot swept low, lightning fast. Coach Brandon's legs flew out from under him. He crashed to the mat with a heavy thud. The room gasped. "What just happened?" someone whispered. Before Coach Brandon could get up, Maya darted forward. She faked a punch to the left, then landed a sharp, clean strike to his chest. He let out a loud gasp, stumbling back, clutching his ribs. Still trying to recover, he turned, but she was already behind him. In one smooth motion, she jumped onto his back and wrapped her arms around his neck. A chokehold. He flailed. He struggled. Then he tapped the mat. Hard. "Tap out. Tap out," he croaked. Maya let go and stepped back. Calm. Silent. The gym was frozen. Did that just happen? A 10-year-old girl had just taken down the toughest black belt in the building in under 30 seconds. Students slowly lowered their phones, too stunned to speak. A few looked at Maya with wide eyes. Others looked at Coach Brandon, who sat coughing, trying to catch his breath, his pride clearly bruised. From the corner, Mr. Lee stood up slowly. His eyes were full of shock and curiosity. That was military technique," he whispered. "But where would a child learn that?" He wasn't the only one wondering. Maya simply bowed politely to Coach Brandon and stepped off the mat. One student muttered, "Who is she?" Maya walked back to the bench and sat down quietly, as if nothing had happened. She didn't smile. She didn't boast. She just waited for the next lesson to begin. While the gym buzzed with whispers and stares, Maya sat quietly, her eyes on the floor. She didn't look proud. She didn't look angry. Just still. Across the room, Mr. Lee couldn't stop watching her. "That control, that precision," he muttered. "She wasn't fighting to win. She was fighting to teach. His words faded into the background as Maya's mind drifted back to another time, another place. She started thinking of the man she called father. The sun burned hot over the sand. Rows of trainees stood in lines, faces serious, sweat dripping. But among them was a small figure, a young girl, no older than 7, Maya. She wore cargo pants and a black tank top, her hands wrapped in tape. Her body was bruised, her eyes tired, but she never stopped moving. A tall, powerful man walked around her, his steps heavy, his stare sharp. His name was David. Maya called him father. Again, he said, voice low but firm. Maya threw a series of punches into a pad he held. Jab, hook, elbow, knee, then a perfect takedown. Faster, he ordered. She did it again, and again. Her body moved like it had no fear, no doubts. One of the other soldiers nearby watched and shook his head. Why are you training a kid like this? David didn't even turn. Because life doesn't care how old you are, she'll be ready. Maya wiped sweat from her forehead. Am I doing okay? She asked. David kneeled beside her. For a moment, his tough face softened. You're doing more than okay, he said. You move like a shadow. You strike like thunder. She smiled for the first time that day. But remember, he added, real strength doesn't yell. It doesn't need to. It waits. It watches. And when the time comes, it acts. He placed a hand on her shoulder. You don't fight for show, Maya. You fight to protect. In the gym, Maya blinked, pulled from the memory. Her fingers touched the edge of a patch on her gi. A golden star sewn into the inside. A secret badge. A symbol of her father's training. Mr. Lee was now walking toward her. He'd seen something in her that no one else had. Not just talent. Discipline. History. And Maya knew, deep inside, this was just the beginning. The next day, Iron Fist Martial Arts Academy felt different. The students weren't laughing anymore. They whispered in small groups. They glanced at Maya with wide eyes when they thought she wasn't looking. Phones buzzed videos of her quick defeat of Coach Brandon had already spread. But Maya stayed the same, quiet, focused, always watching. Coach Brandon walked in, ribs still sore. His usual grin was gone. He looked around at his students, then at Maya. This time, there was no joke, no nickname, just silence. Then Mr. Lee stepped into the center of the gym. I want everyone's attention, he said, his voice calm but firm. The students turned. Even Coach Brandon stepped back. He looked at Maya. Come here, please. She stood and walked to him slowly, unsure what to expect. Mr. Lee held up her arm gently. This girl is not a beginner, he said. She is trained, deeply trained in multiple combat styles. She moved like a soldier yesterday, not a student. A murmur spread through the room. Coach Brandon crossed his arms. Okay, maybe she's got skills, but where did they come from? Mr. Lee looked at Maya. It's time. Maya sighed. She reached into her gym bag and pulled something out, a folded cloth. Slowly, she unwrapped it to reveal a plaque, worn around the edges but still shining. The students leaned in. World Combat Federation. Youth Division Champion. 3-time winner. Gasps filled the room. She reached into her bag again and pulled out a second item, a combat patch stitched with gold and black, reading, Israeli Youth Tactical Unit, Civilian Division. I trained under my father, Maya said, finally breaking her silence. He served in the army. He taught me everything. Discipline, timing, respect. Coach Brandon stepped closer. Why didn't you tell us? Maya looked at him without anger. You didn't ask. You just laughed. The words hit harder than any punch. One by one, the students began to clap. It started slow, then grew louder. Even Coach Brandon bowed his head, humbled. You're not here to show off, are you? He asked. No, Maya replied. I came here to learn. Mr. Lee smiled quietly. And at that moment, every person in the gym knew this wasn't just a kid. This was someone special. After the truth about Maya spread, everything in the gym changed. Some students wanted to train with her. Others avoided eye contact, unsure what to say. A few still felt jealous whispers of, "She thinks she's better than us," floated through the halls. But Maya didn't let it affect her. She trained hard, stayed quiet, and showed respect to everyone, especially Coach Brandon, who now watched her with a quiet respect of his own. Mr. Lee had become her mentor, offering advice after class and teaching her small, precise techniques that even Maya hadn't seen before. "You have strength," he told her. "But strength without wisdom can become a weapon. Never forget why you fight." One afternoon, the gym held a sparring tournament open to all students. Not a show, not for belts, just for experience. Maya didn't want to enter. "I don't need to prove anything," she told Mr. Lee. He nodded. "True. But sometimes others need to see your heart, not just your skill." She thought about that. Then she signed up. Her name was added to the bracket. And on the other side, Aaron. He was 13, bigger, stronger, fast, known for being aggressive. Some called him the bulldozer of the gym. Maya had seen him train. He hit hard, and he liked winning. "Hope you're ready," he said, with a smirk before the match. "I don't care who your dad island." Maya didn't reply. She simply bowed. The match began. Aaron charged at her like a truck. The room held its breath. Maya dodged, sidestepped, stayed light on her feet. She didn't strike back. Not yet. She waited. Aaron swung wild punches. Maya blocked, redirected, stepped back. She wasn't afraid. She was calculating. Finally, Aaron overreached. Maya slid behind him and brought him to the mat with a clean, careful sweep. Not too hard, just enough. He grunted, frustrated. Maya stepped back, waiting again. The referee called time. Round over. Aaron stood, breathing heavily. He looked at Maya, confused. "You could have hurt me," he said. "I wasn't here to hurt you," Maya replied. "I'm here to learn." The crowd was silent. Then, to everyone's surprise, Aaron reached out and shook her hand. "Good match," he said. Maya smiled, just a little. This wasn't about beating people. It was about building something better. Weeks passed. Maya had become a regular at Iron Fist Martial Arts Academy. She trained with discipline, helped younger students, and always stayed after class to clean up even when no one asked her to. She never bragged, never showed off. But everyone noticed. Coach Brandon had changed too. He was no longer the loud, teasing leader. He started watching more, listening more. When Maya spoke, he paid full attention. "I used to think strength was all about winning," he told her one day after class. "Now I see it's about something else." Maya nodded. "It's about control and kindness." One rainy afternoon, Mr. Lee gathered the whole gym. Everyone stood in a circle. Students, instructors, even parents. "Maya has reminded us why we train," he said. "Not just to fight, but to grow, to be ready, and to be humble." He turned to Maya. "You taught us without words. That's a gift not many people have." She looked around. So many faces, so many people who had once laughed or doubted her. Now, they stood still, quiet, and full of respect. Coach Brandon stepped forward. He reached into a small box and pulled out a patch. It wasn't for rank. It wasn't a trophy. Just a small, dark cloth with silver stitching. "Silent Strength," it read. "We made this for you," Coach Brandon said. "Not because you beat someone, but because you reminded us of what this place is really about." Maya held the patch in her hand and bowed deeply. She didn't say much. Just, "Thank you." Later that day, as the gym emptied out and the rain fell softly outside, Maya stood by the door. She looked back one last time. The mats were quiet. The lights dimmed. But something had changed. Not just the gym. The people inside it. She put on her hoodie, slipped the patch into her pocket, and walked out into the rain. As the door closed behind her, someone whispered, "She didn't come here to shine, but she still lit the whole place up." And they were right. Because real strength doesn't need to shout. It speaks loudest when it's quiet. Thank you so much for watching. If you haven't subscribed, please click on that subscribe button now. Turn on the notifications so whenever I post more interesting stories, you'll be the first to get them. I really appreciate you. I do not take your support for granted. See you in my next video. Bye.